Hello everyone, this is Thelma with SewItYourself.com, and today I am going to show you how to make this beautiful silk scarf. Okay, I think it is a great opportunity to utilize some of your sewing skills, practice some of your sewing skills with just minimal yardage and a very few supplies, right? So if you're just starting out and you're like, wow, I really don't want to get into sewing a skirt just yet, because I need to find out exactly what my measurements are. Maybe I might need to alter an item, or of course you might want to sew a muslin of your skirt first, and then make the utilize the outer fashion fabric. So there could be a lot of steps and you're a little bit hesitant about just even getting involved in this whole thing. Well, here's a way that you can actually practice some of your sewing skills as well as update your wardrobe at the same time. And it's fall, so if you add a scarf to an outfit that you already have, it will update it, make it look totally different depending on the fabric you use, right? So this is the scarf that I've already completed out of this beautiful silk ombre, silk charmeuse rather. And I got this from Mood Fabrics. This particular one is it's called Monument and Creole Silk Ombre Silk Charmeuse fabric. So you've got this little, see how it shades out from gray to pink. I love that. I saw this at a class I had, and I thought it was really gorgeous. But anyway, this one is completed. The feel of it is just, awesome. It's just so luxurious, and it's just beautiful. And I like it. I tried to put it on something simple so you can kind of see the beauty of the fabric itself. So I made this out of 1.5 yards, and I'm going to show you what I did. But I'm going to use a different fabric. I purchased 2 pieces from Mood. This is the other one that we're going to make the next scarf out of. It is actually an ombre as well, silk charmeuse. And because of the price, right? I think it was 40 something a yard, and I bought 1.5 yards. I'm trying to find the little sticker that they put on here so I can tell you the name of it. I'll put it also in the link. It's called Dachshund and Deep Teal Ombre Silk Charmeuse. See, isn't it pretty? So I love the colors in here. And I'm an earth tone person, so this is gorgeous to me. So you see here, all of this in one fabric. So, and it's not a print, I love it. So using this piece, I'm going to make a scarf like this. So let's see what some of the things that you can justify in making this is, we're going to straighten the ends of the fabric on the silk. We're going to cut this in half on the lengthwise thread, right? And I'll show you how to do that. Then it gives you also an opportunity to learn how to press delicate fabrics, because it will need pressing. I did press this. There are a couple of straight seams here. We will probably adjust the machine a little bit different, so you have an opportunity to familiarize yourself with the machine and changing out the needle, what needles you would need, how to wind your bobbin. You will be stitching straight seams because we have a couple of French seams in here in the back. I'll take it off so that you can see. See, we've got there's a French seam here. We've got 2, one on each end where I connect. Here's the other one here. No, is that the same? No, it's a different one. So we've got the French seam here. So we're going to do a couple of those. And one here. All right. So I'm going to put this back on. I really had it twisted up so it would hang the way I want it, but you can kind of do whatever you want with it. It gives it a different look each time. So we'll also learn how to trim those seams with some nice sharp scissors. Go back to, we'll press the seams open. I'll show you that. These are just some things you will learn so that when you start utilizing or working on your fashion fabric for a garment, then you already know those things to do, know what to do. And then we'll also use our machine for finishing on this, which is more like a zigzag, a really tight zigzag stitch. All right, so see, you can see that really close. See, we're going to use that kind of little zigzag stitch. So I'll tell you how I got started on this. So you see, I was just going to do a straight stitch, like a rollover hem, like this. Here's a piece of the fabric that I had. I actually just wanted to do, you know, where I would roll it over once, then roll it over twice, and stitch a straight seam down the side, right on the edge. And then see what it looks like when you put it on the right side. But if you get down to the pink, and this is turned a little bit, this is turned on the crosswise instead of the lengthwise, rather than how I have mine, then I didn't like the gray going into the pink. Okay? And I didn't like the thickness of the roll. I wanted to look really more like it was purchased out of the store. Okay? But this is the way it would look if you decide that you want to do like a rolled hem. Plus, I didn't want to do it by hand. With the length that I have, it was going to take too long to get that done. So if you see, I actually taking it off again. Let's put it on a single. See, look how long this is. Long. And I would be doing a roll hem by hand on each side. So, see, it would be on the gray side and then on the pink side. All right, and that was going to take me just too long. So I took a look at some of the store-bought scarves that I have. I have tons of those. And I took a look at their finishing. All right, you see this one? It has a little, I mean, of course it's zigzagged, but look how wide it is. I couldn't really achieve that. With mine, it was going to take me a lot of practice with this. And I'm only doing 2 of them, unless I find some really gorgeous fabric somewhere else. Here is another one. Pretty much the same look. See, very thin. It didn't have this. It doesn't have this. See? It didn't have the hem look. And that's the quickest, this would be the quickest one for me that I thought. So, and I didn't want to do hand. But look how nice and, you know, neat that this finish is. You know, it doesn't look bulky. And I went through that with all of them pretty much. And these are all silk that I've shown you so far that I find in the retail store. And you see, they have a nice, it looks like a hand rolled stitch. Which, like I said, I wasn't going to do all of them. So here's the one. You may be able to see this a little bit better. See, look at that. Then you turn it on the other side. Looks like it's done by hand. Anyways, it doesn't take away from, I thought the solid thread was actually going to take away from the scarf itself, the fabric itself. If I turned this over and then this over and had a long, and hemmed it that way with the long stitch, long straight stitch, that would be the effect. Anyway, I didn't like it. So, as I said, I looked at some of the store-bought ones. This one right here, this is a nice piece of wool, a wool scarf, really light. Look at that. Look at that. It's sheer, gorgeous. I can't wear it in the summer. And I rarely wear scarves in the summer anyway because of the humidity here. But fall, I love scarves. I love changing up the look of the outfit with a nice scarf. So I leave the tags on because that way I can tell what it is. This one says 100% wool, dry clean only. But again, if you check out the finishing, they just use the selvage. So if you happen to get what they call a panel, and it would have a selvage that's blended in like this, then they only fringed it across. Look at that. That may be an option for you. See, they just fringed it across, which means they just took out some threads right here. If I can take it out, see? They just took out some threads and got that fringe on the side, on the end, as opposed to, and use the selvage as the finishing on the lengthwise side. So those are some options. I had also gone to, as you know, I've taken this class on how to do the little rolled hem on the serger. And I'm going to show you that because, you know, you may have you may have what you need in order to do this on the serger. Here's this piece of like chiffon or silk, maybe polyester. I'm not sure which one we used in the class. Here it is. Look, see how lightweight it is. Doesn't seem to add any additional weight to the scarf. And that's what I wanted, something like this. But my serger, I've got two. One's a 3-spool and one's a 4. So I didn't really want to buy a maximum of 4 spools of serger thread, or buy one and wind it on 3 bobbins in order to get a look, that serge look. So I didn't want to invest in that, because I'd already invested so much here. So I just purchased my matching thread when I purchased this fabric. And then the other one is already on my machine that I'm going to use for the next one. See that one? I've got the turquoise already, and I had to stop somewhere and get the brown because I thought I had enough brown in my stash, but I didn't have the color to go with this. So I had to stop and get this. And the only place I could find the cotton, for some reason, Joann was closed on a Saturday. Something happened in our location. I don't know what. But anyway, I had to go over to the Bernina shop was open. So I got this. And I'll just have to wind some off on the bobbin to match. So unless you want to buy, you know, several spools of thread. This one is cotton, right? The other ones are silk. These rows of silk. See this blue spool on the end? That lets you know that it's silk with the Gutermann company. They identify the silk threads with a different type of, with a different color. So that's silk. And I couldn't find silk at Bernina. They only had embroidery thread and they had this cotton. So cotton sheen. So I decided I'd get the cotton. Some natural fiber rather than, I didn't want to do polyester on the silk. So in order to get this professional look, I mean, those are some of the things that I had to consider. So when we look at the supplies that you would need, in addition to the fabric that I've shown you and the thread that I've shown you, you want to make sure you've got the needles, the correct needles. If they're too big, they could pierce and put a hole in the fabric, and sometimes even that you have to take them out. You don't want to leave a hole in the fabric itself. So these are size 10s, 70 10s, small. That means they've got a really small eye. It's got a really small eye there, as opposed to the one that I had in the machine at first. In the machine that I switched out to. I'll show you why I switched to. This one, not sure what size it is, but I was doing something else. So the hole on it is a little larger. Okay, so hopefully you can see back. The hole on it is a little larger. So you want something that's small. And you want to make sure it's a new needle, because if it's not, it could actually snag your fabric, and that's a really good way to ruin a piece of expensive fabric, is not have a new needle the right size. I mean, you would be totally disappointed with that look. So we've done all of that in order to get a really good professional looking scarf that you can wear with hopefully with multiple things and multiple ways. You can wrap this around your head, also, and then extend it and wrap it around your neck. I made it long enough to do that. So I think it's gonna work out just great. Now, let's talk about the machines. Now, I didn't want to use the serger, right? Because it was going to require too many spools of thread or too much work with my winding the bobbins in order to have enough thread on the 3-spool or the 4-spool. I didn't want to do a hand roll, and I didn't like the look of this. In addition to that, also, the selvage. I forgot to mention that. See the selvage on this? On my pinking, on my other one, the selvage was gray. So I actually ended up trimming it off because I didn't like the look of it. So I trimmed it off. So I'll probably do the same width, since I have trimmed off the selvage on the gray, right? Because once I cut them, I ended up with gray on one side and pink on the other side, all the way down. And I didn't have that merging in two. I didn't cut it this way. Whereas you would have it wasn't wide enough. So I split it anyway. So this would, if I didn't add to this and give it more length, right? The fabric itself was 45 inches wide. So I split it in half and made it 22, 23, whatever the case may be. 22 and a half. If it's 45. Let's see what it says on here. It doesn't tell me how wide the fabric is on the little sticker that was on the back of the fabric. But anyway, I figured with all the length that I have, by the time I wrap it a couple of times, you really wouldn't be able to tell how wide it was anyway. So it worked out. I think it works out better like this. So I've tied it several different ways since we've been here. But, like you go on YouTube, of course, you'll see tons of ways to wear scarves. But I wanted to give it a lot of variety, so I'd have many options. Depending on the top, if I wear a t-shirt, if I wear, like this is a V button down, right? Then if I have a round neck, I could do something different. Then if I have a button down or button up shirt, I could do something different. So this gives me a lot of options. Okay, so from there, we are going to look at machines. So I went on this search, did a little research on hem finishing, and at least on delicate fabrics or silk fabrics. And I found one on YouTube that I reviewed several times, and I liked the way it was going to look. And that was on Angela Kane's YouTube on how to hem a silk scarf. how to hem silks or something to that effect. But I'll put a link to her YouTube video right underneath so you can see that if you want. But what I did after researching that and finding hers, and I did a couple of samples on mine to get the look that she had accomplished. So, see, here's mine. What I realized is that I actually put mine in without pulling it as I was sewing. So this is the other look, the other side, where it's not pulled this much. I mean, where I did pull it, see? And then on this side, I didn't pull it, I just let it go through. So the difference in that is the machine that I use more, or that I have set up, is that Bernina 765 Special Edition, and it's a 9 millimeter machine. Angela's demo was based on a 5 millimeter machine, meaning that the widths are smaller. She has, I'm not sure if she has what I have, but she had a 5 mil machine. And this one, which is my original Bernina 830, this one has a 5. I'm going to show this to you. So this one has a 5. The distance between these feed dogs right here are not as wide as my 9. And it would give me a different look than what I have. So, and if I use the 9 mil, I would need to change out my throat plate, as well as practice with the stitch length and width to get this look. Okay, so I decided, hey, in order to save some time, I would just pull out my 5 millimeter machine, which is my old vintage 830 machine. And besides, it gives me an opportunity to use it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get ready to make a scarf, silk scarf here. Oh, oops. In addition to, no, I've dropped it. In addition to using my 9 millimeter machine, I would have to probably get another, not only a different throat plate, but also another special foot. And the demo that Angela did was with a embroidery foot. So I have one now. I dropped it, but I'll pick that up in a second. But this is what we're going to do first. All right, crosswise. I always straighten the grain of my fabric, no matter, unless it's a plaid and I can see that it's already straight, but that's a rare. So again, what I do, you've seen it probably many times, is I pull a thread. Hopefully, I try and find the low point on the fabric just by eyeballing. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I know that it's in the middle because that's what they cut it out on the fold. So I can kind of start here in the middle. And I mean, at least where I can see the line where it was on the fold. And pull up a thread here like that. And then I will get a couple and then pull. So, and then once that happens, once I finish that, or the thread breaks, see, it's really close to the edge. But now you can start seeing how it will how it was off grain. So you really can't tell by looking at it sometimes. See, all of this little piece up here, which is good. That's not bad. I will cut off. So now you can really see it in this brown. I like it that way. So I can really see where to cut. Then I'd go on the other side and I'd do the same thing. See, but this is already, looks like this is pretty good. This is probably was the lowest point, it looks like. Okay, so then I'm going to turn it on the other side. grab the other end, right? And look at it. It's not as smooth as the first end, okay? So let's see. So I would do the same thing. I guess you don't need to see me do that, but I pull up a thread, see, and then I pull it until it breaks. And this may be straighter than I think, but anyway, all of this little piece, that's probably going to get cut off, right? So I'll trim that down, straighten the grain, just like I did on the other end, and then okay, I just want to show you, see the nice little line that this leaves right there, right there? That's the line I'm going to cut on. I'm going to cut all the way across. See, it's leave it a nice line. Okay? So when you get to the lighter colors, you can't see it that well, but you can see where the pool is. So I'm going to cut all along on this pool. Right there, all the way across. Right along on the pool. But I know you may have seen some people that will straighten the grain of their fabric by, here's a tight piece of muslin. And they straighten the grain by just taking a cut somewhere. Let's see, this is a scrap that I just grabbed, where they just clip it at the end, maybe at the lowest point, and they pull. See, I clipped it, and then they just pull it like this. Okay, you see that? Number one, sure, you'll get it on the grain, but it'll pull. Depending on the type of fabric you have, you can see the stress on this. Okay, you can see the stress on that. And then, but it also works on tightly woven fabrics. So if this was a piece, like if I was sewing on this, rather than my clipping along the edge, pulling the thread, I would probably just clip it and tear it like this. But I'm not going to do that on this silk because it's really delicate, and I don't want it to, me to slow down, and sometimes it'll turn and go the wrong way. So just wanted to show you the difference in straightening the grain by following this little line that I pulled, compared to taking a piece of muslin and just ripping it. Where's my end? Right here, ripping it. Okay, I'm gonna see what happens if I try and rip this piece of silk, now that I have a little sample and you've seen the other piece. So if I take this piece of silk right here, I'm gonna clip it and see what happens with it when I try and, let's say, straighten it, or if I just cut it somewhere, right? Let's say I cut it right here, right? And then I want to straighten the grain, so I'm going to just see if I can pull it. Okay. Look, number one, I can't. But look, the stress that I added, look at that. It's pulling off. So, and sometimes I know people can say, oh, well, just cut it deeper. So let me see if I have enough to cut it deeper. Okay, so I cut it right here. And I'm going to see if I can. See, I cut it. See, it's a little bit deeper. But I'm going to see if I can pull it. So you can see here. Right there. I'm going to see if I can pull it. See, I can't. It's pretty strong. So see, I can't even pull it. See how I've stretched it down. See how I've stretched it right there, trying to pull it, and you see which direction it's going in. Right here, it's tearing, right there. So on delicate fabrics, that is a really good reason as to why I do the straightening the grain by pulling the thread. Now, Of course, you won't have to do that on every piece, but I've just gotten into the habit of, doing that. So I don't have to try to remember, okay, now what type of fabric is this? Oh, what did I do? Okay, what, so I primarily, I may do this on everything, every piece that every piece that I work with, unless it's really something like this muslin that I'm just going to tear, or a piece of cotton that I'm just going to rip and tear. If it's really tightly woven, I may not do that. It just depends. Okay. Quiet. Okay, take a look at the other side. Well, before I do that, let me show you. Okay, so on the one that we initially were working with, this is how much fabric came off of it to straighten it. So that side, this side is straightened with my getting a very little, having to cut just a little off. So it wasn't that much. This is what came off of it. Okay, see? Which is what I really like, when you don't have that much to lose. Okay, but on the other end that I'm straightening, right? This one, see, it's here. You see the line, see the gathers? I will be trimming off that much. All right. When I found the lowest point, it was here. And now, when I pull to make it sure it's on a straight line, it's going all the way here. But that's not bad either, considering, you see how much I lost on the pink one, on the pink and gray. See, I lost quite a bit more. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that, so you will see. Don't get, if you lose a lot more than this, especially when you're, I can't send it back, right? Can't send this back to Mood. I'm in Texas. They're in New York. I ordered this from the New York location. Now, I have taken fabric back to Joann's and showed them how much I lost, and they would cut me more. But if it's off grain off the boat, it's not, I mean, you just have to sometimes buy more if that's the fabric that you really want. You just have to buy more of it, as opposed to, and knowing that you're going to lose fabric, because the fabric was wrapped on the boat off grain, and there's nothing that can be done about it unless somebody's going to unwrap it and start it from the opposite end. And then that doesn't even guarantee that it's going to be on grain. So I know this is a scarf and it's not going to, you're not going to be able to determine. And sometimes when you make things off grain, you're constantly pulling at it when you wear it. It's not off, it's just not hanging right. And this is a scarf that's just going to hang openly like this, and it really wouldn't matter. But I just like to, in order for me to make sure that it's straight on this end, and then when I cut it in the middle, I'm going to press this seam out so I can put this on the middle, fold it midway, and I'm actually going to pull a thread all the way down and then attach it like I did the pink one. But when I did the pink one, see, look at this. Now that it's on grain, this piece, now that it's on grain, you see the fold line was right here. Fold line was right there. That's where it was folded. When I folded in half, look where my halfway marker is, right here on the fold. So if I had just arbitrarily cut it here and then try and attach the ends, they were not going to line up. One was going to be bigger, wider than the other piece. And then, of course, again, another chance to waste some good fabric. Okay, so see where the fold line was? All of that's the fold line. And I should be cutting right here. So that's another good reason as to why this is done. Because you want to lose as less fabric as you possibly can, and you want your finished piece to hang correctly. And unless you kind of do these little preliminary things before you sew, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to cut here, and then I will press and then fold in half. Once I fold it in half, then I'm going to clip it just like I would have been working here. So see here where this line starts? I will take my scissors, my shears, these are little scissors, and I cut on the line. You see? And then you continue to cut on the line until you have finished from selvage to selvage. From one end to the other end, right? And be careful, I normally lay it down on the cutting board to cut, but I'm trying to show you what I would do. So basically, I'm just cutting on this line. See, if it goes crooked, I go up a little bit, and then I'll come back here to cut on the line. And if it's off a little bit, that's okay, because you can still, it's not as bad as before. So I'm just going to continue cutting across, all the way across, until I finish. Okay, I'm going to cut on that line. And then you'll see that I have a straight piece. All right, yeah, we'll continue on. And then I'm just going to press it with no sting, because I did not pre-shrink this. When you've got silk and some polyesters, but especially silk, if you've got silk, and you haven't pre-washed it or pre-shrink it, then you don't want to use steam on it because it'll water spot. You'll leave spots in it and you can't get them out. So I'll press with the dry iron on the silk setting. I think on this one, I actually had to use, on the iron that I currently have, I actually had to use a wool setting, but I was really careful. I tested it first, right? So I want to show you something regarding the turquoise and teal fabric that we're working on. Now that the fabric, I've straightened each end, straighten the ends, right? And I pressed them. And what I thought I was going to do was go to the ironing board and press out the seam, which I did, and then fold it in half and split it down the middle, like I did this one. The problem is we have a slight challenge here. So, Monument and Creole Pink Ombre Silk. Okay, show you what that looks like when you get it from the store, or when I ordered it, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So our challenge is, I was able to cut this down the middle and then just make one long piece, right? So mine is really long. Okay, so in order to get that length, what I did was I pretty much just split it in half, as I showed you earlier, and I was able to sew it matching the color scheme. So the pink was halfway. It was gray on each side. All right. I wanted to do the same thing with this. With the turquoise, it's actually the deep teal and Dachshund color, right? I wanted to do the same thing, but this is what I ran into. So I'm going to show you what it looks like on the Mood site, moodfabrics.com site, so you will know what to expect. So I'm just going to put my iPad, I put it up on the iPad so you can see. All right, so look. If you look at this, we've got the Monument Gray right here, and on this side, and the pink in the middle. So you're able to kind of cut it in half and then attach it where it matches, and it just looks like one single piece. Okay, so if I go to more colors on their site, the other one that I purchased was this, the Deshawn and Deep Teal. So take a look at this. I am going to see if I can expand that for you. So guess what we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors. One, this Deshawn, then it gets lighter, then it gets to be a beige, and then it gets to be a cream inside. Then it's just, we've got light blue, then we've got a little aqua, then we've really got the turquoise on this side. However, if we look at that, there's nothing balancing. The colors aren't balanced. There's a color, each end has a different color. So it's not like I can split it in half and get the same colors on one end that I got, that I would get on the other end, like I have on the Monument Gray and Pink. So, but I still wanted the length. I even tried it. I wrapped it matching this. You have to turn it crosswise in order to get that match. But it's really short. It's shorter than I wanted. It doesn't give me as much versatility as the longer one does. Listen, I decided I had this all sewn down in that one large, the one where it matched, where I showed you what I was going to do. But I decided that I didn't want it that close to my neck. I want to have more options with it rather than just being able to wrap it twice around my neck. I want to have some length. So I'm going to insert the picture that I took of the scarf when I had it matched up. Okay? And you'll see what that looks like. And like I said, I didn't really care for it. So again, wanted to change it up, wanted to have more options. So I decided I took it apart, and have since split the scarf in half. So as you can see right here, and I also took a picture of that, so I'm going to insert that here and to show you how I actually got the center of the scarf. And I just clipped it, pulled the thread, and now it's all wrapped heavily on this side. But that'll be taken care of when I do the finishing all the way around. So what I've done right now, I have stitched it with the wrong sides together. Yeah, wrong sides together. And this is the wrong side. This is the right side. Normally when we do something, we put it together with the right sides together. But wrong sides together, stitched it down. I guess I just got to the point where it didn't matter about the thread. It's just one of the thread colors that are in here. Now I'm going to trim it down to an 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to turn it over. See how, turn it over and sew it to make that seam. So now you see where I've attached it, and it has, look, the brown and the turquoise on the same side. So this is going to be my scarf of many colors, right? So we've got tons of color here. My daughter came through and go, "What are you working on? And you've got all these colors." I'm like, I like color. So this is going to be my scarf of many colors. See? And at least I like the length that it adds. It wasn't adding any length with the other way. So I'm going to make it the same way that I did this. But of course the difference in this is that, like I showed you earlier, it was gray on each side. The pink was in the middle, and then the gray was on the side. But in this case, it had 4 different colors, 4 or 5. the brown, the turquoise, the teal, the cream, the light blue, the beige. It just had all kind of colors to it, right? So now I'm just going to make it it has been named the Scarf of Many Colors, which I like. Kind of reminds me of the coat of many colors that Joseph got from his dad in the Bible, right? He had a coat of many colors. So this is my scarf of many colors. So what I'm going to do, as I said, I'm going to trim it. I've already pressed it, but I am going to trim it down. I am going to turn it over. See, turn it over. I'm going to put right sides together like this and stitch it, pin it. Pinning it works best because it's a real slippery fabric and I need to pin. But my 5 mm machine really helps pull these together. You know, it holds the seam down. If I was on the 700 series, the 765, I'd probably put a walking foot on it. But right now, in order to finish off the seam, see, I pinned it and I'm just finger pressing it to make sure, see, the seam is kind of right in the middle. And I'm going to stitch down 1/4 of an inch to enclose this seam, to get my, what we call the French seam. So you won't see the seam on the inside or the outside, pretty much like this one, if you can see that. Let's see if I can. Okay. You can see how that is enclosed right here. Right there. It's enclosed. So that's where we have the French seam. And when you turn it on the opposite side, you see your seam, but you don't see any raveling. So that's what I'm going to do on both sides of this. Go to the machine and just stitch down that 1/4 of an inch to enclose it. Okay, everyone, we are now ready to finish the edge on this gorgeous piece of silk. So I have found some blue thread, close to kind of bluish, light blue silk in my stash that was close to matching this, right? And I am going to thread my machine. See, there's the thread. You can barely see how close it comes to matching. So I am going to thread the machine. I've already put a little on the bobbin. I'm going to reset. I'm going to set the change the settings on this machine so that I can get that same look that I tested earlier, where you kind of get in that zigzag finish that I have over here. See, this finish. That's what I want. Okay, so my settings on my 5 mil machine, or you're going to do a zigzag. Okay, let's see if I can do this. A zigzag halfway, set it halfway, so that's going to be 2 for the width of the zigzag. I need to change the settings here from a straight stitch up here to a, let's see if I can get this down. Change the settings from here, which is a straight stitch, from 1 through 20 to my zigzag. So I'm going to change that. All right. Then I am going to set the length on my machine. Like, this is 4. I already have the width at 2. So I'm going to set this width, the length at 2 as well. So see, I'm setting the length at 2. I am also going to change my, change the presser foot on this from a regular straight stitch to an embroidery foot. It gives you because now I have to find it. I had it out. I wanted to show you the difference. Here, if you notice, they have a you'll be able to utilize the embroidery foot, and it will be able to hold on to more of the fabric underneath this 5mm Fee Dog. Here's my embroidery foot that goes with this vintage 830. So I'm switching it from, like I said, this foot, which is the straight stitch, to the embroidery foot. So I wanted to show you what they look like underneath so you can kind of see the difference. See, the hole isn't as wide. So see, this will give me more, give me the ability to put more fabric underneath the foot and hold it while it's doing the zigzag, as opposed to, this is my straight stitch. See, it's not that much width. It doesn't expand. It just, I mean, so you know it's for straight stitching. Whereas this embroidery foot on this machine, look, I can get more fabric underneath. So that's why I'm switching to that. All right. So we've changed the settings. I'm going to finish threading the machine. I'm going to put the embroidery foot on. I think I'm done with this, with the straight stitch foot. So I'm going to put on my, embroidery foot. See? So push it on the cone, clamp it down to hold it. All right. And then I'll finish threading the machine, and I will start stitching the finished edge on this. Okay, I have threaded my machine, threaded the needle. Now I'm just going to bring up the bobbin thread. Usually I just hold this top thread, turn the wheel, and bring up the bobbin thread like that, so. And I'm going to pull it up, and then I'm going to push it to the back. Okay. I hate the yellow light, but that's what it was. That's what was in there back. You know, that's the bulb that comes with it, and even the replacement. I wish they would do an LED or a daylight bulb. So I'm going to put this down. That I see it has come up. Put it back here. So I just do that so it doesn't bunch up. Okay. So I'm going to start on the edge, and you have to kind of pull it a little taut like this to get that look that you want. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So my fabric is under there. Sorry it's so light. And I'm going to let down the presser foot. And I'm kind of right along the edge. So, and I'm going to pull it a little tight. Okay. Now, if you notice, I have it pinned here. I have it pinned here to make sure that the seam is going to go in the same direction at the top part of the scarf and the bottom part. So I put pins in them. I don't because when I press it, I'd like to press it in one direction. See, and I put a pin here on the other end to make sure that both ends are going to go in the same direction, and I don't have to try and remember. I've done that on both ends. So now I'm just going to continue. I need to get more of the fabric on top of the table. It's so slippery. I should have put paper there to keep it from sliding off, but I didn't. I want to finish it. So here I go. I'm going to go around this maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 times. We'll see what it looks like. So once I approach this, I'm just going to take the needle out. The pin out. And I'm going to continue across, making sure it's going in the direction that I had it pinned. Okay, so you see how it's forming the finished edge right here? I think I need to pull it a little bit more so that it doesn't bunch up. So here we go. We're going to go around. And I'm just going to continue this all the way around, and I will show you what it looks like when I finish, and then we'll go over it a couple of more times. All right? Okay. I have finished going all the way around. I'm trying to make sure you can see without that light. Right there. Okay. All the way around the edge right here. And see what it looks like? It doesn't look all that great, right? So I'm going to go around it a couple of more times and just keep it on the edge, and the zigzag will capture all of this that I've missed. So I'm just going to go around again, and I'll let you see what it looks like when I finish that, okay? Okay, if you see the edge here, I've gone around it twice. I am going to go around one more time, and this time I turned it over on the right side. Before it was on the wrong, I had it on the wrong side stitching. Now I'm just going to see if I get an overall decent look, a better pickup of the threads on the right side. So I'm just going to go around it maybe once, maybe twice more, depending on how it looks. And then we should be finished with this side. All right, then I want to decide if, I'll have to show you, if I'm going to remove the selvage off of here and make the same do the same treatment as this, so to have a uniform look. That is what I did with my other scarf. I cut the selvage off, and then I did the same type of finish. So I'm just going to go around again. See, that blue is looking pretty good. It doesn't seem to take anything away from the fabric. That's what I like. And, like if I had turned it, put a hem in, and you'd see a stitching line all the way down, that to me kind of takes away from the overall look of the fabric. So I'm just going to go around maybe a couple of more times, and we'll see what the overall look is. Okay? Okay, everyone. Hey, I just want to show you the finished product. So I finished the edges, one edge, and that was in the blue. So it looks pretty good. I went around twice on the wrong side, and then twice on the right side. So twice wrong side, twice right side. And this is the result. So it looks really nice, I think. It doesn't take away from the fabric at all, from the beautiful silk fabric that's here. It doesn't take away from it. It just seems like, it just appears that it's a nice finish. And I think I'm in love with it. I like that finish. So I have gone all the way down one side. Now, of course, you see my French seams right here. So it was really good that it was, seems like in the middle, I caught the blue right in the middle, right? So the little hint of blue in the middle all the way down worked out really great. So I only needed to use one color thread. I just finished it on the front and the back. So I'm really pleased with it. Now, before I go any further, I want to show you that I did not finish this. I just left it with, I left the selvage as the finish, particularly because as I played with it, you really can't see any difference in that. Now, I may change my mind after I've worn it and it sticks out in front of me and I noticed it, and I may notice that I see the selvage and it's a different color. So not that it really matters because I've got so many other colors mixed in. So it doesn't really seem to impact it negatively at all. So, but I'm really pleased with it. It's turns out that it's about, what, 106 inches long, and then the 22.5 to 23 inches wide. So I can actually wrap it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? You got 1, 2, 3 colors over here. I mean, I love it. And then about 3 over here. So it turned, I mean, this was an unexpected surprise, I must say. So I can have it long, like this, you know, where it adds that length to your body, where the eye is going to go up, you know, to accent your garment and to enhance your body shape. You know, the eye is going to go up because it's such an attractive piece. And number one, you've got these lengthwise lines going up towards your face. So this is with it being wrapped, what, just twice. Now, you know, like, as I said before, you can do several different things with this. I mean, I'm sure people are very creative and they can wear this, you know, many ways. So if I do that, then if I see, look at that, where it just twists out like this. I mean, it just turns out to be a beautiful piece to me. I hope you like it, but I like these different colors going against each other. I can probably even switch it and set it up so that I've got more of the turquoise over here over on this side, as opposed to it all being on one side. But I love it. I'm in love with it. And of course, these are some of my favorite colors. So let's see. Then I may decide to do that. See, it's really quite nice. Let's see if I can bring it down some so you can see that. So it finished out really nice, and the lighter the color, look, if that light color is against my skin or my face, turns out really nice. I'm pleased with it. So hopefully you find a very nice piece, and it doesn't take that much work. It just took me longer because of the slight little challenges that I found. I thought it would take me less time because I'd already done the pink one. But because we ran into all the different colors, but my scarf of many colors is looking really nice. I really like it. As I said, as you saw, hey, it's on sale right now. Not sure how long that's going to last. You know, you might want to call Mood, or you may find something similar at another store. And it may, you know, make you think. It may make you think of this. May remind you of the multicolored scarf that we made here. So whatever inspires you to do that, I just hope that I've been able to share something to help you with your sewing adventure. And you can find it quite simple. I mean, you can make it difficult. You know, you can make difficult pieces, or you can make simple pieces. And look at this simple piece. To me, it turns out to be, you know, a very gorgeous piece of fabric. You know, sometimes the fabric tells the whole story. So that's the end of it. I can't wait to see what I have in my closet to wear with it, or make something, you know, sew something else to really go with it, to make it, you know, to make it stand out. I think it's a gorgeous piece. Let me know what you think. Be sure and share your scarves, you know, your fall fashion scarf, accessory, and hopefully you got something out of it, and it helps you with your sewing, as I said before, and it gives you an opportunity to use some of these stitches and make something really nice for fall. The other thing that's good is when I went back on their website, because I looked at this earlier, and the fabric was, see, regular $44.99 a yard. they are actually having it. It's on sale now. $38.24 a yard. So you would be able to get yours for less. There are a couple of other ones on here. I'm trying to see if they kind of balance out depending on color. Oh, that out. This blue one that's a chiffon. No, it's a silk charmeuse. They're saying that one's totally out of stock. Let's see. And what about this one? This cream is really pretty. Looks like that's kind of, see, look, that one is the same. It's 2 different colors on each end. So you'd end up having the same challenge with this one if you made a scarf out of it that I had with this beautiful fabric. But I love it because it gives me so many different colors that I can wear this with. It's really, and the colors complement each other. So whatever I wear it with, oh, it's just gonna be so nice to have. Let's look at the blue or the burgundy. Look, same thing. It's a deep burgundy on one, and then a bright, kind of a reddish on one side. On the other side, but basically it says it's a red and black silk ombre. So now they show some other things that you can do on the website here. I mean, and they are not really doing a scarf. They're doing dresses, some beautiful dresses out of this. But I just thought that if I use 1.5 yards, I'm happy. I'm okay. But now that it's $38.24 a yard, there may be something else I might want to do with it. You know, let's say I wanted to make a top, and I would have the, you know, the colors going from red to black on a top. Gorgeous. Or if I got my piece that I currently have, the Deshawn and Teal, well, let's see if it, right here. And you have that going from like a turquoise at the top and then brown at the bottom on the top. Those colors all in one top. Gorgeous. So there are many things you can do with it, but like I said, had I known that it would have taken me a year to open this, see, I could have waited and gotten it for $38.24 a yard. So it would have been a little less than what I paid for it because it's now on sale.